Alright, hello everyone, my name is Shep, welcome back to the Butcher's Circus, and it has been far too long. It's been like 3 days, which doesn't actually sound like a lot, but for me it is. For someone that has been uploading circus videos for daily for over a year, this little break has felt a little bit weird to me, but here I go playing with something that's quite familiar. I'm playing with the Kalashnikov stress team. I thought, well, going back into the Witcher Circus, I'm probably gonna play something fun, right? Not really Shep stress, because I feel like I've been doing a bit too much of that lately. So I'll just bring the Kalashnikov and I'll try to fix it. Okay. Well, it would appear that the buffoon is flummoxed, and I don't know what happened in the previous match. I have a sneaking suspicion, which is that my internet is absolute garbage right now, and that's what caused the DC to happen, but let's hope that's not the case. And now I'm playing against moving too fast. It looks like they're playing with Shep stress number 5, and they have numbing incense and suffer on this flashlight, no exsanguinate. Interesting decision, but you already know numbing instance go to the web solution into Kalashnikov stress is an absolute death sentence for the Kalashnikov stress team, but this time around I am hoping, I am praying to do something just a teeny tiny touch different. Now I think first things first, and this is gonna sound weird, I'm gonna go for the retribution here on the abomination. There's a few things I wanted to do. Thing number one, transform slam the flashlight, but oh, that's so odd. That is so odd that they go for that. I mean, sure, I'll accept the stun. Other thing I wanted to do was just to go for Demon's Paw on the abomination, prevent B-Spile, or prevent, just transform into position 2 and then B-Spile next round. But I thought, you know what, I'm better off just getting retribution here, forcing them to go violent to riposte, and I think I just want to drop this artillery anyway, so I'm just gonna leave it at that and see how it goes. And that's exactly what I've done, and I guess right now I will just follow up on my plan to spam this artillery, because it's going to do a lot of stress at these characters, and that's exactly what I want. This team's weakness really is... it's not stress if you have bolster and 2 numbing instances, right? You can't really call this team's weakness stress. But it's usually its weakness because it has an Arbalest. You can deal with stuns and debuffs and dazes and bleed and pretty much never get disrupted and be a very nice healer against your damage teams. Wow. And do just really well. But my opponent is going for some interesting moves here. I'm not calling them bad, they're just being very defensive, which does make sense considering that I will run out of steam very quickly. Indeed, if they just continue to punish me like this. And I guess I just have to accept it and just transform as quickly as I can, just be as aggressive as I can, because this is the Kalashnikov stress team. There's literally nothing else I can do other than being as aggressive as possible. I barely have any defensive options available to me, so I just have to be as aggressive as I can, just try to win the match quickly. In terms of changes I've done to this team, I've changed out the Carnival Mask on the Man-at-Arms for the shield spike, and I've changed out the guard for retribution. You're not going to use the... Ooh, that's so valuable. That extra stun resistance really came in handy there. You're never going to use the guard anyway, because you don't have a stun resistance trinket or protector's kite, so who cares about it? So you just bring retribution, you actually deal with the flashlight a hell of a lot better, which is usually this team's massive weakness. And on the occultist side, to bring Hand of Glory, so I can do a bit more stress to the flashlight if he's the last character standing. That extra 20% stress delta is actually absolutely huge. So if you do manage to make it... if you do manage to have the flashlight as the last character standing, instead of doing what would be like 20 stress, or yeah, like 20 stress, you're gonna do like 26, which is like a 30% increase rather than a 20, because of that Gauntlet of Absolution, that totally balanced trinket on being hit, self-stress -10. I absolutely love this balanced trinket. I think I'm actually going to drop a command buff here for the accuracy for the next few rounds. It looks a bit odd, because I could also drop a bolster, but I don't feel like it's going to be that meaningful here. I don't have that much dodge, and they're probably not going to win through stress. They're probably going to win through just damaging me, because I don't have a lot of defensive options available. So I think just going command buff here and just making sure that I have guaranteed hit chances is probably going to be better off for me. Also, more crit chance is also quite good. So I'm just going to do this, and you can see I'm doing a lot of stress to their side. They're also doing some decent damage against me, but they don't actually have exsanguinate here, so this could be a very greedy turn for this flagellant. They don't have the exsanguinate, so they could just go for the punish here, but no, they go for the Rain of Sorrows. Interesting. What I could do now is potentially just Rake, but I don't actually like that play quite as much, because then I'll just be delaying my second transformation for far too long. So instead of doing that, I'm actually going to go for a stun here. The point of this stun is please do 6 damage. The point of this stun isn't to actually stun, it was to do just enough damage, considering that I got a transformation buff and a crit buff. So I was expecting I would do at least 6 damage to this Flagellant, but wishful thinking. And I guess the Flagellant just stays safely where he is. Not for long though, because I do have a Houndsary coming, so I can still bring him down to 0, but then the Arbos will just heal, right? So I guess I'm screwed regardless, but we'll see how this goes. I knew the Arbos was going to heal, but I wanted to waste the Arbos turn on healing and then keep pushing the tempo in my advantage, but now I'm just going to have to accept that the Arbos is going to heal, and I won't have too much going for me, but I mean, what can I do, right? There's going to be a healer on the Flagellant, yeah, as expected, and right now I could go Stygian Embrace on the Abomination. That is a possibility. I might do it. There's still Rake, but there's no Punish. And there's no stun either, which would also be quite annoying for me here. So I might do that. Yeah, it looks odd, but I might generally be going for that. You know what, I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. I know there's Rake, but this is still a bit of a heal, and it's gonna be post-stress dealt, which isn't gonna matter whatsoever, but this is gonna make my Abomination stay alive, and I know this isn't really up to standard with what this team should usually do, which is just being aggressive and going Abyssal Artillery there, but in this specific situation, I feel like this is just a touch better, because it will allow me to get my second transformation off, which is a hell of a lot of stress, which I really need, so I'm just gonna do that. He's going to de-transform, so he's not gonna get his Rake off either, which is pretty good for me. He's probably gonna go for the stun here on the doggy, but something bad might happen because of Paranoid. No, it's gonna be Beast Pile actually. There's a riposte on there, but yeah, it tickles. Unfortunate. I was hoping for like a crit riposte for 15, maybe 14, I'm not entirely sure what the damage values on that would be, but I will accept this. I think now I have to deal with that riposte. There's some damage buffs, but there's also some damage debuffs. I could increase damage debuffs just to make sure he doesn't do 3 damage on the riposte to my doggy, which is really what I don't want to have happen here. If that happens, I'll be extremely pissed, because this riposte should not be hurting. But there's Spiked Chain, there's a crit buff, of course, and still the transformation buff, so it's plus 65 but minus 45. Never mind, the Bell debuff is clear. That's actually a really smart move. I don't know who this player is, but they have a very unique style and they're playing it very well, so I can definitely respect it. I think this is just going to be an Abyssal Artillery turn here. I could try to go for some disruption. That is a possibility. I could try some disruption, but I'm not sure how much value it's actually going to give me. I think just doing stress with this is just going to be better. Overall, just get his afflictions, get them closer to the heart attacks, and just try to win that way. Even though disruption would be nice to have, it's not going to change the match entirely. It's going to be Rain of Stars, which I thankfully do dodge, and I guess now I just have to harry regardless. I mean, it's going to do enough damage for sure, but it's still worth it, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to spend a turn healing here. I'm playing the Kalashnikov stress team. I am absolutely not going to spend a turn just healing myself preemptively, not even at this door. It's absolutely not worth it. I was dazed here, so there was no chance of just transform Slam into a Houndsary or transform Rage, which is unfortunate, but you know, such is the way of the Abomination. I might be going for another push. Yeah, that's probably going to be the move here. Just roll for another push. It's only a 60, but I also transform, so it's absolutely worth it. Look at the stress that's going to be wasted on this Arbos, though. It's quite a fair bit. I get a crit for 25, though. That's massive. And it's a lot of damage buffs I've gotten on this Abomination. It's not going to matter because I can't really get the riposte up, and also have my opponent just try to hit me with it, but yeah, it's okay. They're actually going to try to heal with the Arbos. That's really risky because she's going to go Afflicted, so this could go terribly wrong. But it doesn't. Wow, they're gonna go for the sniper shot. Really now? Damn, that is as greedy of a play as I've ever seen. Okay, I think in that case I just go for the Abyssal Artillery here. I think that's gonna be the move. There's a few moves I could go for, but I think this is the best one. I was also thinking of a Hound's Harry, but then I eat the repulse, which I don't really want. So if they want to get a kill on my doggy, they're gonna have to get it through manacles and, you know, at least get rid of their abomination turn. I wouldn't mind Harry getting countered by a death blow if Harry did stress, but it sadly doesn't. It goes for the act out self-heal, which isn't a terrible act out, it's just not very good either. And now I can go for another death blow, and who has the best chance of getting a death blow here? I don't have any damage debuffs on me, so I will definitely do damage to this flagellant. I do have a damage debuff on the Houndmaster here, so I might not do damage. Okay, you never know how it goes. The Butcher Circus is such a flickery game that, yeah, sometimes it really likes to screw you over, but can you imagine that I am actually winning against a Flagellant with Gauntlet of Absolution, Numbing Instance while playing with the Kalashnikov stress team, because this is the hard counter. This team does really well into damage teams and all that, does relatively well into DOT teams, unless they have this, but into stress teams with this kind of Flagellant, you usually just get rolled over because Reign of Sorrows destroys your backline, and Numbing Instance Gauntlet of Absolution, you have literally nothing to deal with it. But I guess in this cute little variation, it's not quite the same. I seem to be doing rather well for myself. I'm actually going to self-heal here because with the minus accuracy, I'm probably just going to whiff everything anyway. So I think just doing that is probably going to be better for me, and my abomination here is actually going to de-transform self-heal. There's no point going for a stun on a character with 75% stun resistance. There's also no point in just using my abomination turn to slam the abomination back into a position he wants to be in, and there's also no point just moving back and just risking my abomination dying a bit too early. So I just get the crit, self-heal, and we take the W with the upgraded Kalashnikov stressing. This is Kalashnikov 2.0. This feels so much better to play. Actually, it's because usually the Man at Arms is just here, and he's just so overzealous by going for the Carnival Mask. He just tries to bring Carnival Mask and do bellows for like 14 stress, but he ends up getting stunned, or he ends up being useless. If he goes against the damage teams, he gets stunned, and you know, he's kind of useless. If he goes against the Flagellant teams, his bellows don't do stress to him anyway. If he goes against DOT teams, who cares about damage debuffs, right? But this this Man at Arms, he actually hurts. He stings. He's a porcupine, and he's a porcupine in the correct spot. I feel like this is a really good team for the porcupine Man at Arms. Yeah, I actually quite like this setup. I'm not sure about Hand of Glory, but I guess my Occultist wasn't focused on anyway. If I did have the monkey spot, it would have helped keep him a little bit safer, but I feel like this worked out relatively well. It could have, I didn't even use the Weakening Curse, but I guess it did a teeny tiny touch more stress with the best artillery. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you again another time. Cheers.